Well, Lindsay Douglas, how amazing are our ring crew here to build and pack up a rodeo as quickly as they did.
It's quite extraordinary to watch the evolution of our day into a night program. 1 minute we're doing horse classes and show jumping. Next minute we're out here with rodeo, and now a totally different event.
For the final of the Camdpraft for 2019. Did you know, though, just because I had some facts for you on our ring crew, night number 1 with the rodeo, it took them 29 minutes to build. Tonight, they set a new PB at 21 minutes.
That's almost as exciting as watching someone stay on for 8 seconds. Isn't that, Tim? That is riveting information.
I think you've just pushed the friendship. I just got some numbers that I wanted to share with you. Hey, Lindsay Douglas, we have a very amazing event coming up here this evening. It's the final of the Tyrrell's Wines and Elliston Pastoral Company World Championship Camdpraft for 2019. We have seen a phenomenal event. It's been absolutely amazing, a pleasure to watch, and it's great to be showcasing the final here at the 6:30 time slot tonight.
Well, the boys and girls in the blue shirt are back out here tonight, and it's been night 1 through to night 5. Here we are for the final. Night 5, you and I watched one round go through and thought no one can beat this score. Next minute, we have 3 people on that very same score of 90.5. We had 3 first place last night. It was quite extraordinary. Our 4th place was an 89, and then we had 3 people on equal 5th as well. It was just round after round after round of completed draft, and we cannot wait to see what happens tonight. So it is round 6 of the World Championship Camdpraft, and tonight really counts, because first place tonight will take 4 points, second place 3, third place 2, and fourth place 1 point, and that will work towards our culmination for the big presentation here of His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester Cup Perpetual Trophy.
Well, Lindsay Douglas, with this being the final, ladies and gentlemen, could we please ask you to be upstanding for the national anthem this evening, to be sung by Paige Peters.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by seas. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Oh, thank you very much, Paige Peters. What a beautiful lineup of stockmen with the Hereford cattle standing there as we sung the national anthem, and with Paige in the back of the beautiful RM Williams vehicle. And camp drafting, well, for the last 20 years, his voice has echoed around both the Moore Park grounds and the showground here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. He is a stock and station agent from Scone, but we know him here as the man with the voice, with the champagne camp drafting. It's great to welcome you here. Jimmy Callaghan, welcome back to the main arena for the final tonight, round number 6.
Thank you very much, Tim and Lindsay. Yes, and gets down to the business point of the competition, the 6th and final round. Who will be the world champion for 2019?
Oh, well, last year we were here on this exact night watching young Hugh Miles on Peel Vale Wishes take out the overall championship. It was an extraordinary time. We can't wait to see who is our eventual winner tonight. It was Chappie on Digby, who came in second last year, and Adam Sadler, that lovely bloke on Tajano Spin, who he's out on tonight.
Well, Jimmy, there are people in the grandstand who have been watching Camdpraft for many, many years, and to you we say just have a quiet moment. But there's many a person here, Jim, that will never have even heard of the sport of Camdrafting, let alone seen it. What are we going to see here tonight?
Well, Tim, let's hope we are going to see some magnificent runs out of a possible score of 100 points where the cattle have just been put into the yard there, or we call the cattle camp. There's a possible score there for the cutout of 26 points. Tonight we're going to be running a right-hand course, so 2 points for the first peg on the right. They come back in and do a changeover, take the second peg on the left. They get 1 point for that peg, so that's 3 out of 4. Then the 2 pegs close together over near the Martin and Angus stand. Those 2 pegs there, they put the beast down through the middle there. And they get that. They get 4 out of 4 for the course. So and then the 70 points for horsework is the speed of the run, the control of the run. That is out of a possible score of 70 points. So you put the 26, the 70 and the 4. That's out of a possible score of 100 points.
So hang on, Jimmy. Let me get this right. Someone's going to go into the Tyrrell's Wine camp. They're going to cut a beast out of the mob. They're going to ride their horse and try and take it round in a cloverleaf pattern around this course and try and get a score out of 100. Are you kidding me?
No, Tim, I'm not kidding you, because we've seen it night after night, and we've seen some very, very good runs over the 5 previous rounds. And let's hope tonight is going to be the pinnacle of the World Championship Camdraft. Brought to you with the compliments of Tyrrell's Wines.
Now, the beautiful Hereford cattle sitting down there in the camp at the moment. It's been tough times out there in the bush, Jimmy. Draft after draft's being cancelled, simply and plainly because we can't get cattle. But, mate, they tell me you have a great connection from some friends up there and have got these beautiful cattle down here.
There's no doubt about it. Under the very trying conditions with the drought. There's been sort of 2.5 years in the Elliston area they've been in drought, and to have the cattle in tip-top condition and so well handled there by Murray Wilkerson and the wonderful dogs. So once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, the Packer family, and we're lucky enough to have the manager and assistant manager here with us down here on the ground too tonight, Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell. So many thanks to Elliston Pastoral and all the team, and to you, Murray Wilkerson, as well with the dogs and looking after the cattle while down here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Jim, our first competitor is in the camp. He is the one that I'd be putting my money on, Bruce Coulthard from Long Flat, New South Wales, and his horse, Fig. They've only been drafting 4 years together, this combination, but they came out on night 1, placed first, night 2, second, night 3, second, night 4, second, night 5, another fantastic score. All of his scores over 84.5. He has been a consistent performer out here, and this is Bruce Coulthard and Fig.
So Bruce has been having a wonderful Sydney show for 2019. First year here, and he's certainly been making every post that he's touched as they've got a ribbon hanging on it. So he makes his selection, a wonderful Pole Hereford heifer right up the face of the camp, and Bruce Coulthard with Fig, and he calls for the gate. He's about to step out into the Mackay Arena, and it's a right-hand course tonight, the final evening, and a beautiful running heifer, and she says, what a beautiful place to be. And they float around the first peg, and look at Fig and Bruce Coulthard. They get 2 out of 4 for the course. They do the changeover. Now he says, I'll just slip in here a little bit, and Fig says, I think we'll just sit back. Now comes around now, and Fig says, just leave the footwork to me, Bruce. You just come around here with me, and I'm ready to go as soon as you feed me a little more rain. And he starts to feed her a little more rain. Now, girls and boys, mums and dads, can they do it? I think they can. It's looking very good. It's 4 out of 4. And what a way to kick off round number 6, the final evening of the World Championship Camdraft.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please give him another round of applause. He has got an 84 or better every single night. He's got the beast to the gate, and his first ever year. What an effort. Well, while we wait for the score, we welcome out now Terry Hanigan. He was 4th here on round number 3. He's 5th here on round number 4 with an 84. What can he do tonight? The grazier from Candamble, and he is riding Durkin's Onyx.
So a score now for Bruce Coulthard with Fig was 23 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a score of 88.5 points. 88.5 points for Fig, ridden by Bruce Coulthard. So Terry Hanigan steps in now. He's just trying to get the one. He says, I'm not going to change my mind. He said, this is the one I want right here at the back. And he gets the nice, kind Hereford heifer. Terry Hanigan, the grazier from Canamble with Duggan's Onyx. Does 1, 2, the 3, the 4, calls for the gate. He's about to step out onto centre stage here into the Mackay Stadium. Comes around now, sits out. Duggan's Onyx says, we'll just go along, we'll just sit behind a little, and the Hereford says, gee, we're out in the open spaces here. We're just like being back home at Elliston. Now they do get 2 out of 4 for the course. He does the changeover. Duggan's Onyx says, I think we should just sit a little bit, Terry. Let the heifer run on. Oh, look at this. Anticipation to perfection. Oh, the heifer wants to get going. Gets a little bit of a bump. Now he just gives her a little bit of a bump and takes her back over the line. Boys and girls, mums and dads, let's ride with Terry. Hanigan and Duggan's Onyx around. Can they do it? Can they do it? Of course they can. As Robin, she starts to clap up in the stand. Well done, Terry Hanigan.
Well, as we wait for that score, you can see our next competitor in the camp now, Codie Law. He hasn't just done well here at this World Championship Camdpraft. He's gone on and placed 3 nights in a row. In fact, he was first on night 3 with a score of 89. We haven't seen him for a long time out at Sydney Royal. In fact, the last time he competed here in the World Championship Camdpraft was back in 2004, so some 13 years ago. But he's back here now. Well, Codie's family have been breeding stock horses since 1953. Yarrawa is the stock horse brand name they use. Barry and Annette, the mother and father. And this horse is Yarrawa Guns N' Roses.
Score now for Terry Hanigan with Duggan's Onyx was 22 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 85 points. 85 points for Duggan's Onyx, ridden by Terry Hanigan. Now is Codie Law. He gets the nod from the judges. And he just says, which one is it? The red and white Pole Hereford heifers. He says, I'll just wait till she might just step out and I can get her a little bit cleaner. Quietly but quickly. Codie Law. And once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, the Packer family, Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the team up there. Under these very trying conditions that we've been in for some 2.5 years up at Elliston in the Hunter Valley. And Codie Law comes up the face of the camp. He's about to call for the gate to step out onto centre stage here into the Mackay Arena. And look at Yarrawa Guns N' Roses. He's done the tap dance about 4 or 5 times. Now steps out into the centre stage. Now sits out. Oh, and the heifer says, well, just have a little bit of a look around. And a nice free flow running heifer as well. And comes around the first peg and Yarrawa Guns N' Roses. They get 2 out of 4 for the course. Now they're going to do a changeover. And Codie says, let's go. He presses the buttons and around the second peg, they tighten it right up. Yarrawa Guns N' Roses, everything is on fire here this evening. Now they sit, they come around. Boys and girls, mums and dads, can they do it? Can they do it? Let's ride with Codie. Oh, through the gate. It's 4 out of 4. Magnificent round. Codie Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what a treat here tonight. 3 from 3 complete the course. That's rare. You are seeing the finest at their best here tonight. Well, while we wait for the score for Codie Law, we introduce now one of 2 of our lady riders here this year, Sue Duggan. She comes to us from Coulthard in New South Wales. Her and her husband have 1,500 acres. She's a wife, a mother and a farmer, and she's returning to the Sydney Royal Easter Show for her 2nd year here at with her stock horse Chief. He's been in the family since he was 4 years old. He is now a ripe old age of 17. Wherever he goes, everyone knows Chiefy for his bright blue eyes.
Codie Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses scored 21.5 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89.5 points. 89.5 points for Yarrawa Guns N' Roses, ridden by Codie Law.
New leader in the competition. That's the new score to beat.
So Sue Duggan, Quintella Chief, goes straight into action. Oh, and one just walks up the side fence, but straight back down to its cousins. And Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief comes right up the face of the camp. They step out into the Mackay Arena now. And the heifer says, well, we're out into open spaces. We're under lights. Now we don't see too many of these big bright lights. And now they come around the first peg. And Quindella Chief and Sue Duggan. Things are looking pretty good here for the lady Camdpraft rider. Now let's ride with her around the second peg. They do the changeover. And Quindella Chief says, look at this. Leave the footwork to me around the second peg. And Sue Duggan rides hard. Right around on the beast's shoulder. Now they do the changeover. Can they do it? Can they do it? Oh, but it's got to go the other way. But give her a lovely round of applause there. That was Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief.
She is just the most delightful lady, and it was great having her up in the broadcast box here for a good interview the other day. Taught us a lot about the sport. Next in camp is a young boy who's from Bulahdelah, north of Sydney. He's currently placed equal second and third in the ABCRA Open Horse and fourth in the most successful rider competition. This horse is going to be out here on Avalon Illusion. He's a 9-year-old mare, and they've been campaigning together for 3.5 years. And in a sport where many people compete from a very young age, he only started riding when he turned 18 years old. Last night he had a score of 88.5. He'll be looking to do better than that tonight. This is Joe Burges of Bulahdelah.
Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief scored 21.5 points. 21.5 points for Quindella Chief, ridden by Sue Duggan. So Joe Burges and the heifer's just went in under the horse's neck and just gone back down the back of the camp. So it goes now, goes to the other side of the fence, blocks it off again. Says yes, and he says he'll call for the gate and step straight out, ready to go here to the Mackay Arena. This is the final round of the World Championship Camp Draft. Joe Burges with Avalon Illusion, and it's just going to drift in under the first peg, and Joe Burges says we're not going to knock anything about. So you'll come up with a cutout score there only for Joe Burges and Avalon Illusion.
Well, while we wait for the score, Brendan Fitzgerald, our next rider out, all the way from Roma in Western Queensland. He was first here on round number 4 with a 90. He was second on night number 2 with an 88 points. And this is his second year attending the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Brendan has been campaigning his 9-year-old stallion for the last 3 years with great success. And he won the Tambo Novice in 2019, and he has driven the furthest of any of our competitors, some 1,400 kilometres, to be here this evening.
The score now for Joe Burges with Avalon Illusion was 17 points for cutout. 17 points there for Avalon Illusion, ridden by Joe Burges. So number 6 in the draw as our stockman, Pete and Dave Kelly, puts the pole Hereford heifer over there, back to bed. Oh, no, she doesn't want to go. She says, I want to stop out here into the Mackay Arena.
Maybe they needed young Tyler Kelly, our champion boy rider, to come and help them tonight.
Yes, and very, very proud parents they'd be too of Tyler Kelly, the champion boy rider once again. So the Kelly brothers, they go to work. And the heifer says this is just such a good stadium to be out. I'd like to stop out here a little longer.
Jimmy, it's such an exciting sport, the sport of camp drafting. You can see here how tough it is for our competitors, how much the beast actually plays a part to how well they can score, and you get a couple of seconds only to really have a look over that beast before you have to decide.
That's right, Tim, and you just got to have the right horse and the right moment and just a little bit of luck, and things can turn out perfect. And then the other hand, things can turn out unperfect.
Rooster to feather duster and hero to zero in a heartbeat.
Exactly right. So, Brendan Fitzgerald, all the way from Roma, as Lindsay was just telling us, the long, long way from home for Brendan Fitzgerald with more rocks. And he makes his selection, and he's going to go to work to put the big points on out of a possible score of 26 in the cutout yard. Does the 3 and the 4 and blocks up hard on the other side and calls for the gates and about to step out here into the arena. The final round of the World Championship Camdpraft, brought to you with the compliments of Tyrrells and More Rocks, and Brendan Fitzgerald has got a very fast running beast. Or the whole Hereford heifer says, yes, we'll make everyone a winner here. Brendan Fitzgerald and More Rocks around the first peg. They get 2 out of 4 for the course. More Rocks says, let's go if we're going to go, Terry. And Camdrafting at its best. Champagne Run coming up here with More Rocks and Brendan Fitzgerald. Now they come towards the halfway line. They get 3 out of 4 for the course. Now they're looking for the 4th one. Boys and girls, mums and dads, warm those hands up. Get excited. It's looking very good. It's looking perfect. Brendan Fitzgerald from Roma with More Rocks.
What fantastic drafting. Can't wait to see that score. Our next in camp is Adam Sadler. Comes to us from the lovely little town of Barnett in the Upper Hunter. He's on Reldus Raven Acres, a horse that has won a variety of drafts, ladies, novice, juvenile, and Adam's got a bit of a fantastic record too. He was the open rider back in 2001 for the ABCRA, and this is his 2nd time here at Sydney Royal Easter Show. Last time, he actually got the red ribbon for the whole competition. The runner-up in the open, riding Tajano Spin. But this year, he's on Reldus Raven Acres.
Score now for Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks was 22 for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87 points. 87 points for More Rocks, ridden by Brendan Fitzgerald. As Adam Sadler right up the face of the camp, and he comes across now to blocks it up again, calls for the gate. Going for the big points here, Adam Sadler with Reldus Raven Acres, and they go around the first peg they come, and they're going to break out the radar. Now comes around very fast, and Adam Sadler says we're about to change over. 2 out of 4 for the course, and Raven Acres says let's go now around the second peg, and he's going to tighten it right up. Adam Sadler just gives the heifer a little bit of a bump there. Does the changeover. I think we better get ready, boys and girls, mums and dads. Can they do it? Can they do it? It's looking 100%. It is 100%. Raven Acres and Adam Sadler. Come on down.
5 from 7 have completed the course tonight. That's our 5th out of 7 as we welcome out now into the arena from Inverell. This is Tyler Berkley, our youngest competitor, only 17 years of age. He's been on the lineup twice this week. He's got 3 scores over 80 in round 2. He had an 87 points. In round number 4, he had an 87.5 to be 3rd place. And he's been with Quinton for the last 4 years. He was bred, owned and trained by the Gallagher family. And what an achievement for the young gun. He's only 16 years of age. And what an amazing effort. His parents, Ron and Janita Berkley of Ray White Rural in Inverell, must be so proud of him.
Score now for Adam Sadler with Reldus Raven Acres. It was 21 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Reldus Raven Acres, ridden by Adam Sadler.
2nd place. That puts him into 2nd place.
So Champagne Camdrafting in the final round, Tim. So Tyler Berkley from Inverell with Quinton does the 3 and the 4, goes across the yard, goes back the other way, steps out now into the main arena now. Round number 6, and he gets a tricky one. She says, I want to head straight back to Elliston and get the fast one. But give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes things just don't go to plan. So you'll come with a cutout score. They're only there for Tyler Berkley and Quinton.
Well, you're right, Jim. Sometimes things don't go to plan, but this time last year they did go to plan for Hugh Miles, only 29 years old. Only 16 competitors out of the thousands and thousands that draft all over Australia get an invitation here to the Sydney Royal Easter Show World Championship Camdpraft. This young fellow came out here last year and he won the whole event. It was his first year competing in here 3 years ago, and he has just gone from strength to strength. He's on a different horse this year. He's on Peel Vale Wishes in 2018. This year, he's out there on Honey They're Aching.
A score now for Tyler Berkley with Quinton was 20 points for cutout. 20 points for cutout for Quinton, ridden by Tyler Berkley. Well, the Champagne Camdrafting, we've seen some magnificent runs this evening. Once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, to management up there, Rob Teague, Scott Mitchell, and we're lucky enough to have those 2 gentlemen down here on the ground with us tonight. So to all the team up there, and Murray Wilkinson and his dogs have been looking after the cattle down here for the whole week. Many, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company. So Hugh Miles, he goes to work with Honey There Aiken right up the face of the camp. Steps back, just drops back, blocks her up again, steps out now into the main arena, and he's on centre stage. And look at this Camdpraft, and he slips straight up alongside the beast, gives a little bit of a bump, and look here, Honey There Aiken around the first peg, and she's got it all under control now. Hugh Miles feeds a little more rein. He says, we'll make it around the second peg, and he tightens it right up, and you look at the loose reins around the second peg now. This is Hugh Miles with Honey There Aiken. They get 3 out of 4 for the course. Boys and girls, mums and dads, I think we better get ready, because I think we're going to see something really special again. And Honey There Aiken, she says, leave the footwork to me. And that's 4 out of 4.
That's our 6th completion of the course here tonight. What an effort. Jimmy called it champagne camp drafting. Well, next out into the camp, he's became a mate of mine since I started working down there at Willinga Park. He sat down with Terry Snow a couple of years ago and had this idea to put the richest camp draft on in the world. It'll be on again next month with a $250,000 prize pool. But right now, he's not thinking about that. This is the grazier from Coulthard. It is Troy Palmer, 17-time ABCRA horse and rider titles to his name. Can he be on the podium tonight?
So a score now for Hugh Miles with Honey There Aiken was 23 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 90 points. 90 points for Honey There Aiken, ridden by Hugh Miles.
New leader in the competition, he goes into first place.
So Troy Palmer, Binia Larina, steps right up the face of the camp. Calls for the gate. Oh, and the heifers just dropped back a little bit, but Larina steps back and blocks her up as well as she jumps out there and says, I feel really good here on round number 6. And around the first peg, it's very smartly done. And around they come, and yes, Larina's got it all under control. She said, don't you worry there, you gentlemen. We won't keep the beast away from you. Around the second peg now, Binia Larina and Troy Palmer. Oh, they tighten things up around. They come around. They're trying to get the 3 out of 4. They've got it now. Okay, boys and girls, we could have to get ready. It could be a rehearsal. And look here, Troy Palmer and Larina makes no mistakes about it.
Oh, well, Troy Palmer, you have made Tim Trevorman one very happy man here this evening. He's been backing you all week, and it looks like you've come through with the cookies this time. Well, our next competitor in camp is Wyatt Young. Wyatt Young is only 23 years old. He's out here on Cedar Vale Twist. They're a wonderful combination. They placed first on one of the nights here, round 2 with an 89. And round 1, they got an equal second with an 88. They got another 89 last night. And he's been well and truly bred into this sport. But his family, his parents are Craig and Janelle Young. They established Cedar Vale Stock Horses back in 1987. And tonight, he's out here on Cedar Vale Twist.
The score now for Troy Palmer with Binia Larina was 19.5 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 84 points. 84 points for Binia Larina, ridden by Troy Palmer. So Wyatt Young steps right up the face of the camp. A lovely pole Hereford heifer. Says, yes, I'll play the game. Goes that way, goes back the other way. And Cedar Vale Twist. Oh, and just wanted to take a sister with her as well. And good work here by Wyatt Young and Cedar Vale Twist. They step out now onto centre stage now and right around now. Can they just line things up for the first peg? Cedar Vale Twist. She says, we'll just twist this pole Hereford heifer around the first peg. She's got it all under control. Now the pole Hereford heifer. And Cedar Vale Twist and Wyatt Young, he presses the buttons there on the GPS and tightens things up around the second peg. Cedar Vale Twist around on the beast's shoulder. Says, leave the footwork to me. Pushes it back around now over the line there to get the 3 out of 4 for the course. This has been Champagne Camp Drafting, brought to you with the compliments of Tyrrell's Wine. And Wyatt Young and Cedar Vale Twist just twist it through the gate, and that's 4 out of 4 for the course.
Oh boy, don't take your eyes off this for a moment as we welcome into the camp and we wait for the score. And we need Jay Chinook will be the next of our riders into the camp, and he rides Urana Cooper's Acres. And this combination have been a finalist in all major camp drafts such as Paradise Lagoons, Landmark Classic, the Maiden Series at the Stock Horse Championships. And Jay is from Booladar, and he's been riding most of his life and competing in a range of different equestrian disciplines, but most importantly, he loves his camp drafting. He was 4th in the Warwick Gold Cup. And what can he do here tonight?
So a score now for Wyatt Young and Cedar Vale Twist was 19 for Cutout, 61 for Horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 84 points. 84 points for Cedar Vale Twist, ridden by Wyatt Young. So we go with Jay Chinook. Urana Copper Acres. Jay's just running his eyes over. He says, which one? He says, no, I don't think I'll change my mind. I'll stick to my first pick. So we welcome all the people back home as well watching live stream. So welcome to the final round of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft 2019. So Jay Chinook right up the face of the camp. Does the 2, the 3, comes back around, and Urana Copper Acres. They step out now onto centre stage in the final round. And got a nice free-flowing running pole Hereford heifer as well. And look here, Urana Copper Acres got it all under control. And the pole Hereford heifer now comes around. They get 2 out of 4 for the course. 2 for the first peg. They're looking for another one around the second peg. And Urana Copper Acres and Jay Chinook around the second peg. They come on. This is looking pretty good. Boys and girls, mums and dads, get ready. Get ready. Let's see if we can lift the roof off the stadium, off the Mackay Arena. And Jay Chinook, Urana Copper Acres.
Oh, Jay will be smiling from ear to ear with that. Looking forward to seeing the score. Well, next in camp is a young man who has had this sport bred into him. His father actually competed here as part of the Sydney Royal Easter Show Camp Draft all the way back in 2011. He competed on a horse called Barn Lodge Molly. Tonight, his son Josh Barnett's out here on Barn Lodge Omega Destiny. Last night, they got the top score of the entire comp, 90.5. Unfortunately for Josh, 2 other people got the same score too. We had an equal first place, a 3-way tie. But we're looking forward to seeing what he can do here tonight. Josh Barnett and Barn Lodge Omega Destiny.
Jay Chinook with Urana Copper Acres scored 21.5 for Cutout, 63.5 for Horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Urana Copper Acres, ridden by Jay Chinook. So Josh Barnett, Barn Lodge Omega Destiny. About to make his selection. And he does so too. He says, the one I've been waiting for just to take a step and walk out the front. And Josh Barnett, he goes to work now on Barn Lodge Omega Destiny, right up the face of the camp. We saw him in the rodeo tonight as well. And he goes from one side to the other, coming up for the big points. And he steps out into the main arena here in round 6, the final round of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. And look around the first peg now. And Omega Destiny says, leave the footwork to me. You just come with me. Oh, and the heifer just drifts away. But give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Barnett with Omega Destiny.
What an effort that boy's been riding in the rodeo. He's been competing here, and he's been supporting his lovely partner in next into the camp, Rebecca Roberts. She rides Duck Ray Gorgeous. This is her first year attending the Sydney Royal Easter Show. She made the podium on night number 4 with an 84. Can she do it here again tonight? To make the top 5, she needs a score higher than 87. The current leader, Hugh Miles, is on a 90 with our second place getter on an 89.5, Codie Law. Into the camp now. We welcome out Duck Ray Gorgeous and Rebecca Roberts.
So a score for Josh Barnett and Barn Lodge Omega Destiny was 22.5 points for Cutout, 22.5 points for all Barn Lodge Omega Destiny, ridden by Josh Barnett. So number 14 in the draw, Rebecca Roberts, her first year here. And she comes right up the face of the camp. She does the 1, the 2, the 3 the other way. Comes back into the middle of the yard for the 4th and calls for the gate. And out on centre stage now, Rebecca Roberts with Duck Ray Gorgeous and around the first peg. And the big white necked up Pole Hereford Heifer. And looking, Duck Ray Gorgeous says, just leave the footwork to me. We come around the first peg. They do a changeover. And Rebecca Roberts, the young lady Camdpraft competitor, around the second peg. She lines out up though. The heifer wants to drift. And look at Duck Ray Gorgeous says, we'll go out here. Oh, and just gives it a little bit of a push. A little good bit of work there from Duck Ray Gorgeous and Rebecca Roberts. They float back around the second peg. Now, have they got the time? The clock is ticking away. Now, can they do it? Boys and girls, let's push her on. Can they do it? Can they do it? Can they? Oh, but give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Rebecca Roberts and Duck Ray Gorgeous.
Well, she has been a crowd favourite every night here of the Sydney Royal Easter Show. And last but not least, it is our mate Chappie. Andrew Chapman in camp now on Digby. He's a cattle stud manager from the lovely town of Nundle in the New England. He's been campaigning for over a decade. Last night he came out and was equal first with 2 other competitors and a score of 90.5. It's his 5th year at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in the World Championship Camdpraft. This is Andrew Chapman and Dig Me.
So a score now for Rebecca Roberts with Duck Ray Gorgeous was 22.5 for cutout, 56 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 81.5 points. 81.5 points there for Duck Ray Gorgeous, ridden by Rebecca Roberts. So Andrew Chapman and Digby. And Digby goes to work straight away. They do right up the face of the camp. They step out now onto centre stage here to the Mackay Arena. And the 6th and final round. And the pole effort ever says, I just feel my way around. And a nice big floating effort too she is. Oh, and... well, give me a round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Andrew Chapman with Digby. Things were looking so good, but things just come undone. And there'll be a cutout score there only there now for Digby, ridden by Andrew Chapman. And the cutout score, we can tell you now, is a cutout score of 22 points. 22 points there for Digby and Andrew Chapman.
Well, Jim Callahan, what a way to have our final here tonight. That has been sensational drafting. And, mate, it's been world class. Well, it looks like, Jimmy, you might have a very special man there from the Elliston Pastoral Company, and we'll cross back down to Jimmy Callahan.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Well, yes, I'm lucky enough to have the General Manager here of Elliston Pastoral, Mr. Rob Teague. Rob, some great runs tonight, and over the previous rounds of the World Championship Camdpraft, absolute credit for the cattle under these trying conditions. Yes, Jimmy. I'd like to thank the Show Society for giving Elliston the opportunity to showcase our cattle down here to such a large audience. I think it's a wonderful event. I would like to make special notice of our stockmen who have presented these cattle. We started with 350 head. They came down to 220. We turned up at the show with 150. So a lot of work in the background's happened to make this event to run as smoothly as we hoped it would. And just one other is Murray Wilkinson here with his dogs. He's a young stockman at Elliston, and I think he's done a wonderful job. And I like the thought of just bringing that bit of country to the show. Well, Rob, you mentioned Murray Wilkinson. He's not just a stockman at Elliston. He's a crowd favourite down here. I'm not sure whether he's going to go back to Elliston. I think he's settled into this city life. Look, I'm pretty sure he knows where his bread's buttered. He'll be back. Rob, the cattle, but the relationship with the RAS and Elliston and the Packer family, etc., it's a great team effort. Yes. Well, it's been about 12 years now we've been back coming to the show every year, and the Packers just love it. They just try to help out in any way they can, and in the rural industry in general. And probably one other thing I'd like to just say is we're all thinking about our northern friends with the flooding and that up north. It's such a tough thing, and we're thinking about everyone up there as well. Well, thank you very much, Rob Teague, and let's hope that the same association happens in 2020. But many thanks, and good to see yourself and Scott Mitchell, and many thanks to all the Elliston team. Thank you very much. Thanks, Rob. There's our General Manager there from Elliston Pastoral Company.
Well, we're making the presentation of some very significant trophies here this evening, not least of which His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester Cup Perpetual Trophy to the winner of the World Championship Camdpraft competition. We'll also present the TB McFarlane Perpetual Trophy, awarded for the highest score in any session conducted throughout the World Championship Camdpraft. And the World Championship Camdpraft highest aggregate cutout score will be the Tyrrell's Vineyard Perpetual Trophy. But before any of that, we need to award tonight's prizes.
So thank you, Lindsay. And just here with the winner of round 6 and the final round of the World Championship Camdpraft. Well, Hugh Miles, you certainly made things finish on a very high note.
Yeah, mate, it's been good. I was a bit slow getting started this year and started my run a bit late, a couple of nights too late. But anyway, better late than never.
Been a great competition, great lot of friendship with the other competitors. But once again, the cattle really make the things, don't they, down at the Royal Easter Show?
Yeah, mate, they do, yep. I can't thank Alliston enough and what the guys do there, Rob Teague, and we really appreciate everything they do. Yeah, and all the guys that are here, we're all great mates, and at the end of the day, we go back and have a Tyrrells after we get back to stables, and yeah, we're all like a big family, and yeah, no, we wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay, well, all the very best for the coming season of camp drafting. Let's hope there's a few more on, and let's hope Mother Nature turns those taps on us for all around the other states as well.
Yeah, mate, definitely. Let's hope the skies open up and we can keep going.
Okay, thank you, Hugh Miles.
Well, the official results, Hugh Miles was in first place on a score of 90. Second place went to Codie Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses on an 89.5. Equal third place went to Adam Sadler, Redler's Raven Acres on an 89. And Wyatt Young, I've got that wrong in fact, Jay Chinook on a score of 89. And then fifth place going to Bruce Coulthard and Fig on an 88.5.
Well, as they ride off around the main arena, show them your appreciation, ladies and gentlemen. Champagne camp drafting, in the words of our friend Jim Callanan.
Well, we're going to bring those guys back up here for presentation in a moment as we have the very special trophies. As Lindsay was saying, we have His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester Perpetual Trophy and the TB McFarlane Perpetual Trophy, as well as the saddle pad for the highest placed Australian stock horse, thanks to the Australian Stock Horse Society, and the Tyrrell's Vineyard Perpetual Trophy, donated by Tyrrell's Wine, for the highest aggregate cutout score throughout the World Championship competition.
Well, as the scores are collated, I'll tell you a little about this beautiful Perpetual Trophy, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester Cup. And when you see it on screen, it's the twin-handled Loving Cup. It was made in London back in 1937, and the maker is S. Garland & Co., the Royal Silversmiths. It was first presented here in 1947. That history is just extraordinary, in recognition of the particularly fine type of man encountered, or woman these days, man or woman encountered on station properties, and as a gesture of appreciation of their excellent work, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, then Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, first presented the Cup for camp drafting competitions to be conducted in each state. Well, originally it was awarded to the winner of the camp drafting competition and restricted to owners of farm and station properties and or their stockmen. And today it's awarded to the overall winner of the World Championship Camp Draft competition.
So tonight we'll have Mr. Rob Vickery presenting this trophy. Of course, Rob has been heavily involved in this. In fact, Mr. Rob Teague will be making the presentation of all these different trophies. Lots of different trophies to be presented, and we're very honoured to have a lineup of gentlemen and ladies in those stock on the riding those Australian stock horses in Australia's own sport, the sport of camp drafting. And Lindsay, it has been a treat. We're just having to buy a fraction of time here because the scores are so tight. We want to just double, triple check that we have them all correct before we come forward and officially announce them. So down there at the moment, you can see a group of people madly just double and triple checking scores.
Well, we've got a lot of previous winners out there competing in this year's draft. Hugh Miles won it last year. For many years prior to that, we had an individual who's not competing tonight, Nigel Cable, win it. 3 years in a row he took it out. Troy Palmer's won it on a number of occasions. And Grant Watham's had a wonderful couple of years here too. The Palmer boys, they've taken it out a few times. Terry Hall. And we look forward to seeing who is this year's recipient of His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester Cup Perpetual Trophy.
You go back in history and Troy's father actually won this trophy way back in 1982, 83 and 84 and 85. Bruce McNaughton, another good mate of ours, he won in 86 and 88.
Well, we're going to start off with the highest score in any session conducted throughout the entire World Championship Camp Draft. It's the T.B. McFarlane Perpetual Trophy, donated by the late Mr. T.B. McFarlane and first presented here all the way back in 1969. This has been won in previous years by Grant Watham, Nigel Cable. Hugh Miles won it 3 years ago, and we've seen Troy Palmer pick it up too back in 2013. Jim, we've got a result.
So we're going to do the highest score in any session of the World Championship Camp Draft for the T.B. McFarlane Perpetual Trophy and the Bective Station Annual Trophy. And it is between our two competitors, Josh Barnett with Barn Lodge Amiga Destiny on 90.5 points, Andrew Chapman's Digby on 90.5 points, and Hugh Miles with Honey There Aiken with 90.5 points. They are three competitors with a highest score in any session of 90.5 points.
Hugh Miles, Andrew Chapman and Josh Barnett, equal highest score for this year's Camp Draft, 90.5, all on the one night. Could you believe it?
Out of that best possible 100, that is phenomenal from those three gentlemen. Who would have thought on the one night you'd be sharing the podium with two other guys? And well done to those three gentlemen and their three horses. Well, we now invite Mr. Rob Vickery to do the Bective Station Annual Trophy for the highest score in any session. And that is Mr. Rob Vickery making that presentation down there as we speak.
So now we'll move on to the highest aggregate cutout score, sponsored by Tyrrell's Vineyards and Perpetual Trophy, and also the Bective Station Annual Trophy. And it goes to Hugh Miles with 135.5. 135.5 to Hugh Miles. And Honey There Aiken, the highest aggregate cutout.
Well, this is the Tyrrell's Vineyard Perpetual Trophy, a cold cast bronze stockman and steer by Mary Pinsett. It's edition 1/39, cast in the Realities cold cast bronze and raised on a Jarrah plinth base. It is just beautiful if you can see it on the screen there. Donated in 1986 by the Prudential Pastoral Company and later named the Tyrrell's Vineyard Perpetual Trophy. Previous winners include Andrew Chapman and Digby and Robert Palmer, Mark Palmer as well as won it, Warwick Lawrence, Tom Williamson, Bruce McNaughton. There's some extraordinary names here on the Tyrrell's Vineyard Perpetual Trophy.
Well, we thank Mr. Bruce Tyrrell for coming down to make that presentation, of course, representing Tyrrell's Wines.
Okay, so we'll move on now to the presentation of the overall winner of the World Championship Camp Draft, and we're going to go from 6th to 1st. And 6th place goes to Andrew Chapman with Digby. Andrew Chapman with Digby, 6th place overall. 5th place. 5th place goes to Brendan Fitzgerald. with More Rocks from Roma in Queensland, 5th place. 4th place goes to Wyatt Young with Cedar Vale Twist from Tamworth. Third place goes to Codie Law with Yarrawarr Guns N' Roses from Glen Innes in the New England part of New South Wales. Second place goes to Hugh Miles with Honey They're Aiken from Williman via Tamworth. And the winner of the 2019 Sydney Royal Easter Show World Championship Camp Draft goes to Bruce Coulthard and Fig. So congratulations, Bruce.
Night after night after night he scored. In fact, I think he may be our only competitor to get a complete round in on every single one of the nights we're out here. His lowest score was an 84.5. He placed every night, and he will be just delighted with tonight's outcome.
Well, Bruce Coulthard, congratulations, and no doubt you'd like to say a few words. It must be a very, very happy moment.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I'd just like to thank Alliston Pastoral Company for the cattle and fellow competitors, people, come to the show, enjoy the show. It's hard to get cattle in a tough year, and we're lucky to have a draft. Thank you.
Well, Bruce, your first year here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, a great atmosphere. You wouldn't have drafted any bigger arena than here at the Royal Easter Show.
Well, that's right. Here in Warwick, this is a pretty big crowd and a good stadium. It's a dream come true, this is.
That's probably pretty right what you just said, Bruce. You dream about these things, and you'll be dreaming for the next week or two.
Yeah, that's right. Get enough sleep, I'll dream.
Okay, Bruce, and no doubt that you'll go and have a celebrating drink tonight with your fellow competitors and celebrate with a glass of Tyrrells.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a red somewhere. Yep, don't mind a red or a white, as long as it's Tyrrells.
Okay, thank you, Bruce, and congratulations.
Well, we're having the presentation now of the prize saddle pad for the highest placed Australian stock horse in the competition, brought to us by the Australian Stock Horse Society.
Okay, now for the highest placed Australian stock horse in the final of the World Championship Camp Draft competition, proudly sponsored by the Australian Stock Horse Society, goes to Codie Law with Yarrawarr Guns N' Roses.
And once again, Mr. Bruce Tyrrell, on behalf of the Australian Stock Horse Society, steps in to make that presentation. In fact, Mr. Rob Vickery there as well, and Duncan McIntyre, all presenting that lovely trophy.
Well, Tim, it's been a magnificent competition once again here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, the World Championship Camp Draft.
Oh, Jimmy, it has been world-class indeed. It's been an absolute pleasure presenting these 15 competitors to the crowds each and every night. And, of course, having your dulcet tones here has made it even more the better.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that, Tim. But the backup support of yourself and Lindsay, teamwork makes the plan work. But many thanks for your both support.
Oh, it's been wonderful to be part of it, Jim, and we just want to thank all of our viewers from the live stream that are joining us online, and also you ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this wonderful Australian sporting pursuit, the great sport of camp draft.
It is the quintessential Australian sport. Started with the stockmen when they were droving cattle on the long days to see who could cut a beast out and run it around a little bit before bringing it back to the mob. Today, with over 16,500 members, it's one of the fastest growing equine sports anywhere in the country. And here, over the last 6 nights, we have seen the best of the best coming head to head.
It'd be remiss of us to not thank our wonderful expert judges that have made their way down to Sydney to be part of the World Championship Camdpraft, Skip McCarthy and Keith Hanigan.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to send them on a lap around the arena. Can you please put your hands together for all of our stockmen? But the man leading them off, he's the only competitor over the 6 nights to have a score above 80. He's won and placed in nearly every single session. His first time ever. It is, of course, our Bruce Coulthard and the amazing Fig. What a session he's had here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Yes, Tim, and following the competitors out, we thank them very much, our 2 Camdpraft judges, Mr. Keith Hanigan, Mr. Skip McCarthy, and thank everybody very, very much for all their support, to mums and dads, boys and girls, for cheering them on, and we'll go cross back up now to Tim and Lindsay upstairs. Thank you, Tim and Lindsay.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing night it's been. Of course, stick with us because there is so much action. But hey, our boys are having way too much, boys and girls are having way too much fun. They're going to do another lap around the arena. And Bruce Coulthard, he is certainly going to appreciate those Tyrrell's wines tonight.
Oh, and the crowd is really getting behind them. Isn't that beautiful to see?
And don't forget to really clap and cheer for... Yeah, that is metal, Bruce.
And Fig is